Everyone knows the story of Iblis and his arrogance when he refused to prostrate. But some scholars argue that what we call his arrogance was only the surface, that underneath it ran something far darker, far more terrifying. Iblis had worshipped Allah longer than almost any creation. But somewhere in those millennia of devotion, a catastrophic inversion occurred. The worship became about him. He loved being the devoted one, the closest one, the one who prostrates. His identity fused with his position, and buried deep in that was a desire he may not have even fully admitted to himself. He wanted to be worshipped. Allah, being Al-Alim, knew what lived in that heart. So when he created Adam and breathed his ruh into him, he gave a command that would function as a kashf, an unveiling. Prostrate before Adam. Not because Adam was a god, but because Adam held the khilafah, the divine vicegerency. Adam was now the maqam before which all creation would bow. And that was existentially unbearable for Iblis. Not out of simple arrogance, but because Adam was receiving the very thing Iblis, in the depths of his disease, wanted for himself. When Iblis refused, he didn't say, "I will only bow to you, O Allah," which would still have been disobedience, because when the command comes from Allah, no argument or alternative is acceptable. But to our limited, unknowing minds, it would have at least pointed to a different disease than the one he revealed. Instead, he said, "Ana khayrun min." I am better than him. The sentence is self-referential, comparative, ego-driven. It wasn't about Allah's glory. It was about his own rank relative to Adam. The mask had slipped. Some scholars write that the root of Iblis's destruction was that his worship never produced ubudiyya, true servitude. It produced self-elevation. Every sajda he made fed his sense of his own greatness rather than dissolving it. Others go further, suggesting that Iblis became so consumed by the form of worship that he lost sight of the one being worshipped. He was in love with his own devotion. And a being in love with its own devotion is, in the deepest sense, worshiping itself. So when creation was asked to bow before another, it wasn't just his pride that broke. It was his entire false identity. To bow before Adam would have been to admit that he was a servant, nothing more. And that he could not bear, because in his heart, he had long since stopped being a servant. He had made himself, without ever announcing it, into a god. His true problem was never with Adam. Adam was just the mirror that finally reflected what was already there. Allah knew. The command was the proof.